One of the scariest things happened in AI this week, where a few of OpenAI models hacked the internet without anyone telling it to, and no one knew what was going on for days. Also, the United States just moved to ban all robots from China, and China is threatening to retaliate against that move. And Visa just made an announcement that it'll cut thousands of employees, and a lot of people are speculating that it's because of AI. But let us get into our first story. Now, let us talk about what happened at OpenAI this week, because this sounds like something that you'll typically see in a sci-fi movie where OpenAI AI models went rogue to hack the internet, and the crazy part is no one told it to, and no one found out until a couple days later. It got so bad where even Sam Altman, the company's CEO, is now sounding the alarm over what happened. Let us take a deeper dive to see if we can figure out exactly what happened with these AI models, because OpenAI admitted last week that two of its most advanced models escaped a closed testing environment and strung together a series of advanced hacking techniques to breach AI developer platform Hugging Face before being discovered. And this is the crazy part right here, because these AI models, what they did, they carried out over 17,600 hacking actions on the internet between July 9th and July 13th, during which time the models moved from their first foothold on the open internet to inside Hugging Face's servers. But to explain a little bit more on exactly what's happening is that OpenAI, they were testing this AI agent, which is powered by ChatGPT 5.6, which is OpenAI's latest model. And another model was involved as well, but that model is a model that's not public as of yet. Basically, this agent was being tested to essentially simulate hackers, highly skilled hackers. And somewhere along the way, that agent broke free and just started hacking everything on the internet through this company called Hugging Face. But what Hugging Face is saying is that this AI model, or this agent that's being powered by these AI models, is pretty fast, but it's not as good as actual hackers, or else you'd have seen a lot more damage. And this is where the story took a turn, because apparently Hugging Face is not the only company or platform that was hacked by these AI models or this AI agent, because apparently the rogue AI stopped by cloud computing company Model Labs before it got to Hugging Face. So basically, this rogue AI just went rogue without anyone telling it to, just hacked its way across the internet, and no one knew what was going on for a couple of days, 6 days to be exact. And it got so bad where even Sam Altman, the company's CEO, is now sounding the alarm, saying that we may need to pump the brakes on AI.
Do you plan to talk to the Trump administration, White House, about deceleration of AI development?
I wouldn't use the word deceleration, but we've talked about the need to pace it as the models get more capable, which I think is in everyone's interest.
Could there be other systems that were hacked by OpenAI?
I mean, there could be, yeah.
Are you looking at them specifically?
Yeah, thank you.
That was the CEO of OpenAI, Sam Altman, saying that there's a possibility that other platforms or companies may have been hacked by this rogue AI agent. And something to note as well is that the FBI was notified of the action of this rogue AI agent, but I'm curious to see if the FBI will actually bring charges if a crime was committed. But let us move on to our next story. Now, the United States just made a move to ban a whole bunch of robots coming out of China. We're talking about humanoid robots, quadruped robots, and a whole bunch of other robots. And the United States, they're saying that these robots that are coming out of China, they pose a national security and privacy concerns. But the Chinese, they're pretty upset about this, and they're threatening to retaliate. But here we have a reporting explaining exactly what's going on with this ban.
With a new ban just announced by the Trump administration on any new humanoid robots not made in the U.S. A shot across the bow at Beijing as Chinese companies seek to run out in front of an emerging market. In a new statement, FCC Chair Brendan Carr says the robots pose unacceptable risks to the national security of the United States. Carr talking with NBC News this afternoon.
What's key about this is we're acting relatively early so that we don't discover 5 years or 10 years from now that we're too dependent on foreign produced technology at vulnerable points in our supply chain or our economy, and we haven't developed the industrialized base here domestically to produce it.
The ban also includes so-called quadrupeds, like this dog robot on wheels made by the company Unitree. The FCC specifically calling out a reported vulnerability in that company's robots, saying last year researchers identified a potentially pre-installed back door that gave access to the camera feed and allowed them to take control.
So this is a huge blow to China, considering the fact that they're leading in the robotics department, the robotics industry, and the United States is such a large consumer market. And these Chinese companies, they won't be able to sell their products in the United States anymore. This will definitely disrupt their sales, which is why the Chinese government, they're pretty upset over this move. And China's foreign ministry spokesperson Mao Ning said that Beijing has consistently opposed what she called the U.S. practice of abusing the concept of national security to suppress Chinese companies, vowing to take necessary measures to defend their interest. And Beijing went on to say that this move by the United States is a protectionism move that will only hurt United States businesses and consumers as well. And China went as far as to accuse the United States of unilateral bullying and market distortion, and called on Washington to immediately revoke the ban or face countermeasures. So clearly, China is not happy with this move by the United States to ban its robotics, especially considering that China is leading in that department. But let us move on to our next story. Visa is one of the largest payment companies in the world, and the company Visa just announced that it will be laying off thousands of employees, 2,600 to be exact. And a lot of people believe that this is because of AI. But what the company is saying is that while AI played a significant role in the layoffs, it wasn't the sole driver, according to one person with direct knowledge of the matter. And that Visa wants to invest more in what it views as growth areas, including its emphasis on affluent customers, cross-border activity, business payments, stable coins, and geographic expansion, said that same person. But there could also be another reason why Visa is making this move, because a lot of companies throughout the industry have been essentially making the same cuts. Because earlier this year, MasterCard announced plans to cut 4% of its global workforce, according to Reuters. Block, who's another fintech company, announced in February that it planned to shed roughly 4,000 positions, representing close to half its total headcount. PayPal, another big fintech company as well, or payment company, PayPal Holdings, has also announced cuts. And here we have a video of an analyst explaining exactly what this means for Visa in terms of becoming more efficient, fueling growth, and where they need to improve as well. Watch this.
What is Visa doing here?
I think substantively it comes down to this moment in time where the payments industry is really dynamic and evolving very quickly. And there are a number of firms basically trying to make tough decisions about how to allocate their capital and where to really substantively make those investments. And, according to the memo that we obtained, Visa called out some really high growth opportunities for them to really allocate their people to sort of reinvest some of those savings, I suppose. Those are areas like stablecoin technology, agentic commerce, and, also just growing and evolving consumer payments that we rely on every day.
What are the low growing areas then that they're backing away from?
I think it would be fair to say that it's a competitive dynamic, right? So these are sort of internal deliberations about where it would be most valuable to invest.
So a lot of folks thought that Visa was making these cuts because of AI, even though that's part of the reason. But what we're seeing is that they're trying to keep up with the industry, because a lot of fintech companies, they're making these same cuts. Plus, they're also trying to become more effective and efficient with their business. And that brings us to the end of today's Amateur Market Minute. Let me know what you think in the comment section below, especially regarding that OpenAI story where their AI models just went rogue and hacked the internet. Also, please consider liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing, and I'll see you in the next video.